Hello everyone, my name is Mini Sethi. I hope you all are staying healthy. Today we are going to talk about meaning of organizational change, forces of organizational change, resistance to change and how to overcome from resistance to change. So what is organizational change? Organizational change is a process in which we move from present state to some desired future state. Organizational change is a process in which we move from present state to some desired future state so that we can increase effectiveness of our organization, or we can say that organizational change refers to some action in which organization alters its major components such as technology, infrastructure or some internal process so that it can perform well. Now we are going to talk about forces of organizational change. Forces of organizational change are factors that force businesses to bring change in their organization. Forces of organizational change are factors that force businesses to bring change in their organization. And forces of organizational change divided into two parts: external forces and internal forces. One by one we discuss about each. Firstly, we are going to talk about external forces of organizational change. External forces of organizational change arises from outside environment of business. External forces of organizational change arises from outside environment of business, but it can impact business directly or indirectly. And first external force is market condition. As we know, market conditions are constantly changing, and according to changing market condition, businesses has to change, otherwise it cannot survive in market. For example, consumer preferences are constantly changing. Nowadays the consumer like to eat healthy food. That's why businesses are making green tea, sugar free cookies, etc. Second external force is socio culture forces. As we know, social values, customs, tradition, living patterns of society are continuous changing, and according to this, business has to change. Next external force is technological forces of change. Technological change means improving existing technology or developing new one so that we can improve our product. Technological change means improving existing technology or developing new one so that we can improve our product. For example, technology of mobile phone are continuous changing from traditional telephone, and according to change in technologies, businesses has to change. Next is political forces. Political forces means change in political or legal factors. For example, change in taxation policy, change in employment law, and according to this, businesses has to change. Last is economic forces. Economic forces means economic conditions of countries. As we know, economic conditions of countries are continuous changing. For example, change in interest rate, change in wage rate, change in inflation rate, change in demand or supply, and according to this, businesses has to change, otherwise it cannot survive in market. Now we are going to talk about internal forces. Internal forces arises from inside environment of business. Internal forces arises from inside environment of business. And first internal force is change in organizational goals. Sometime organizational goals or objective change. According to this, organization has to change. Next is existing organizational deficiencies. Sometimes businesses has to change because of their existing deficiencies. For example, unmanageable task, lack of coordination, reduce in sale or profit. Next is change in top management. As we know, major decision of companies taken by top level management. Sometime top level management change through new appointment, transfer or promotion. Obviously, when top management change, organization has to change. Last is employees pressures. Nowadays, employees demand more job security, safety, welfare, and according to this, obviously, organization has to change. Now we are going to talk about resistance to change. Resistance to change means you are not willing to accept change. Resistance to change means you are not willing to accept change, you don't want to accept change. And resistance to change is divided into two parts: individual resistance and organizational resistance. One by one we discuss about each. Firstly, we are going to talk about individual resistance. Individual resistance means your employees are resisting for change. Individual resistance means your employees are resisting for change. But why employees are resisting for change? First reason is habit. By nature, human beings have a habit to do their regular work and they resist for change. Second reason is job security. Employees have a fear they can lose their job if they will not able to work according to change. Next reason is economic factor. Employees have a fear change can reduce their working hours. If working hours reduce, salary will automatically reduce. Next reason is fear of unknown. Fear of unknown means you afraid when you don't have information about that you are going to face. For example, you fear because you don't have information about your new boss, new task, new structure, etc. Now we are going to talk about organizational resistance. Organizational resistance means organization is resisting for change. But why organization is resisting for change? First reason is structural inertia. Organization have some existing structure or system to maintain stability and performance. And change in organization structure is not easy task. That's why organization resist for change. Second reason is resources constraint. Sometimes organization resist for change because they have lack of resources to bring change. Next reason is sunk cost. As we know, organization already has invested in so many assets and organization resist for change because it has fear it cannot recover cost of existing investment. Last reason is change can disturb current balance of power. Organization resist for change because it can possible change can disturb existing balance of power between group and departments. Now we are going to talk about how to overcome from resistance to change, or we can say that how we can manage resistance to change. First is communication and education. Communicate and educate your employees change is necessary and tell them risk of not changing is higher than changing. Second is participation. Participate your employees in whole process of change. Many studies shows that participation is very helpful during the time of organization change. Next is support. Many employees resist for change because they have fear they can lose their job if they will not able to perform according to change. That's why support your employees so that they can develop required skills for change. Next is leadership. Through effective leadership, guide, influence and motivate your employees about change. Last is build excitement. How you are communicating about change is very important. That's why use optimistic and positive statement about change. So this is all about meaning of organizational change, forces of organizational change and resistance to change and how to overcome from resistance to change. I think you got it and thank you so much for watching this video. Bye, take care.